digest. From lane to the new shining ground, echo chants where the legends are found. Heroes carved in the heart of time, we march on through grit and grime. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Echoes of King and Greaves in the air. Every goal, the sound declares. Heartbeats pound like a drummer's song, marching forward, fierce and strong. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. I'm Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. I'm Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire.
Yes, guys, and welcome to the great show on earth. Welcome to THFC Till We Die, home of Tottenham, past, present, and an exciting future, hopefully, under Thomas Frank as he leads us to glory and builds on the success of past managers. And joining us tonight, of course, on this build-up, is it repeat or is it revenge for Tottenham or Manchester United? It's my usual co-host. No, it's not Russell Martin, so don't worry. It's Ange Postecoglou's biggest fan. He was the first to go on the Ange Postecoglou fan club. He is the president, as I'm hearing today, of that fan club. But Tequila, how are you, bud?
First season always better than second season, mate. That's all I've got to say. I'm all right, mate. How are you?
I'm all right, bud. I'm all right. And down below, well, we only get the best on this channel. We don't go for riff-raff. We bring in the best, and we've brought in the heavy gang tonight. Down below me, of course, is a fellow Irishman up in Northern Ireland from a city close to my heart because my mother was from there as well. It is Stephen from doing the Manchester United. Then, Stephen, how are you, bud? Great to see you, and thank you for coming on.
No, thanks for the invite.
Yeah, it's 3-on-1. It's 3-on-1, Steve, and you're being brave, bro.
It will.
Oh,
hello.
The Tottenham Hotspur loving that was going on in it. Is that like a?
I think he keeps dropping in and out. Is it just me, Demo? Can you hear him?
Yeah.
No.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, you there? Yeah. You're right, Steve.
Did you lose me?
Yeah. Yeah, we did a little bit. Yeah.
No, I was just saying I really enjoyed listening to that Tottenham Hotspur song there.
Yeah, that was put together. That was put actually together by a Manchester United fan, believe it or not.
Is that right? Yeah.
It's true, isn't it? It's from Colin, who was a former owner of this channel, who does all the background stuff when he can. But yeah, that was put together by him. He sang it himself.
It's very modern. Like, it is very modern.
Yeah.
And is that what was actually made for your channel?
Yeah.
That's very, well, in fairness, that is pretty cool. Like,
Yeah, there's an update coming to it. There is an update. And next to you, Stephen, of course, this man comes from no introduction the world over. It is the myth. It is the legend. It is the man that I have battled with on Dave. But we started as enemies. Now we've become best mates. It is Rayman. How are you doing, sir? Now we can't hear you.
No, it's because I've muted I mute myself when I'm not talking. So, thank you very much for the introduction. I'm not sure we've ever been enemies. But neither of us sort of suffer fools gladly, which means that at any one point in time, we've told the other one exactly what they think, exactly what we think of each other, which is fair enough. But I think we're friendly enough, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Just don't mention that. Just don't mention protests at start of seasons. I think we leave that argument there. But I think I'm coming around to your way of thinking now. We need more protests at Tottenham now. So
yeah, I mean, you're getting more militant than I am. To be honest, now you're like we've swung the other way. No, very, 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 very happy to have a few words on your channel. Very happy to be on with Tequila and this gentleman here. I've got a personal, you know, I don't know. I look at Man United in a particular way, being an old man. So happy to hear what's going on with them.
Yeah, well, we will get into it. We'll get into it, all the nooks and cranny of what this game means to the fans. But joining us, of course, in the chat is Wayne Bonner. Big up to you, Wayne. He says, good evening, folks. Hope you're all well. Colum says he's a United fan, but we know he really is a Spurs fan.
He's a Doncaster fan, first and foremost.
Yeah, first and foremost. And then I think he has a soft spot for Tottenham, doesn't he? He has a soft spot for Tottenham.
We have tried to convert him, but, still working on it. Work in progress.
I know. Look, I want to start. Look, I want to wind back to the end of last season. We're going to wind back to the 21st of May, 2025 in Bilbao, where we must have watched the worst final in European history. Now, there's been arguments about this. Was it a goal by Brennan Johnson, or was it a Luke Shaw own goal?
Dermo, as your opinion of Johnson drops, and it has, especially this season, are you more inclined to give it as an own goal now, as you start to dislike him more?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. It's still a Brennan Johnson goal in my book. Stephen, I mean, look, it wasn't the greatest game, was it, brother? How do you feel that night, man? How does that night make you feel now?
It seems a long time ago, to be honest. You know, if it had been last year was such a shocking season for Man United fans, and I think losing to Spurs in a European Cup final probably was the nail. Just that finished off a wonderful, enjoyable season, and I was so glad to see the end of it. But look, I mean, United had played pretty well up to that point in the Europa League, and just didn't turn up. But to be honest with you, it didn't really shock me, because I've seen it. There's a lot of players in that team had lost confidence. You know, they turn up some games and then disappear for a while. So it was disappointing, but it does seem a long time ago, to be honest with you. So
it does.
I think
Stephen,
actually, go ahead.
Didn't you feel because you were better than us last season? Not by much. Don't get me wrong. We're not talking much. We're talking a position or two. But the 16th you finished or 15th? Remind me.
I kind of blacked out last season. To be honest.
So we were certainly ahead of us, because we
finished ahead of you. Yeah.
That's what I mean. So did you expect to beat us? Because you must have thought, well, these guys are even worse than us. You must have thought that.
Do you know what? There's not many games. I don't know why, but there's not many games I don't go into expecting to win, and it's you know, I really should know better by now. But I mean, you just believe in your club, and you believe that. I mean, like I grew up, like I saw the glory years at United, and you know, I still kind of keep thinking, oh, we'll be back next year, we'll be back next year, you know. But I've been saying that for the last 10 years. But I think, look, I mean, I'm just looking forward and seeing, you know, funny, we had a podcast on Monday night there, and I had 2 Spurs fans on, guy from Dublin, and then your guy, Harry, I can't pronounce his second name, Harry Sharf, is it Harry?
Scarf.
Yeah. So Harry was
think
on,
so. Yeah.
and a guy called Scott Patterson from Dublin Spurs Supporters Club. And when I was listening to the 2 of them talk, the thing that depressed me the most was as they were talking about Spurs and about all the problems Spurs have had and how they've spent money so badly, and it was just like myself, and I do this podcast, the Irish Red Devils, with my brother and my nephew, and me and my brother just looked at each other and we were just like, he could be talking about Man United. It was so similar, you know. But again, looking ahead to this weekend, I don't know if I think he's looking back. We don't look back, you know. I've got the Premier League trophy over my shoulder here just to remind you, you know, that
Yeah,
we
well,
haven't gone
I
away.
thought I'd just start with the European final, just to remind you who the European champions are. I
Yes.
thought I'd just start there. Sorry, I didn't mean to rub it in, but I thought I'd just start there, Steve. Look, Rayman and Tequila. I mean, look, very quickly before we do move on about the news, and there's a bit of news about both clubs today with Ratcliffe and Tottenham now coming to an agreement. And I'd be interested to see Stephen's views on his owners, because Daniel Levy's left Tottenham, just how I still don't trust Enoch, and I think we should be protesting, but how United are still protesting would get the Glazers out. Rayman, Tequila. Look, it was a special night, wasn't it, in Bilbao? And then we had the parade down the high road. Look, love or hate Ange, we won a trophy. If you put the Ange stuff to one side, how much did that trophy mean to you?
Well, I mean, I went to the parade.
Yeah.
I didn't go to Bilbao. I don't have enough points, even though I go to every single Premier League home game. So don't somehow have enough points compared to other people to get a ticket. And to be honest, I'm not sure going all that way. I'm not sure I can. But I went to the parade, and the parade was absolutely. It was an amazing day. It really was. It was fantastic, and winning a trophy. You know, after 17 years, Dermot. I mean, I'm like you. I grew up in the 80s. Then even in the 90s, we won a couple. You know, and then it's just been barren. You know, but I think we were all, you know, looking at our record against Manchester United at the time, and Manchester United had an absolutely horrendous record last season under Amorim, and I echo what you said, Bud, which is we're 2 clubs which there's a lot of parallels between them as well since Sir Alex Ferguson finished at Man United. There's a lot of parallels in what's happened. You've still had loads more success than us ever since then, anyway. Even, you know, but I think the one thing that I would say is that since it does feel like a long time ago, and since that game, both clubs have changed massively. I think there's been significant change at both clubs. I don't know whether it's all for the best, but it does feel like there's some kind of progression in both clubs. I don't know if that external view of Manchester United is reflected internally, but certainly what's happening right now with Manchester United does feel like there's a bit of a, you know, the tide has turned, you know, a bit, and well, we're going to obviously talk about them coming to visit, but it feels like a long time ago, and it feels like a lot. There's a lot has happened since.
Yeah, a lot has happened, Tequila, hasn't it, since that night? Change of manager, change of philosophy, change of everything at the club. Daniel Levy's now left. I mean, did you ever expect the changes to be that big at Tottenham? And then you look at Manchester United, they're getting it right under Amarin now as well. They've got a few wins. I think they're unbeaten, I think, in the last 4. I think only one defeat the last 4 games in the Premier League. We're meeting a very different Man United team Saturday, aren't we, at lunchtime?
Well, yeah, the thing about Levy leaving is that I never believed it was going to happen. I was pretty sure that he was going to either retire or die, with all due respect. One of the two, whichever one was first. But of course, he was pushed. And we now kind of know that he didn't kind of voluntarily leave, which I never expected he would voluntarily leave. So he was pushed, which is fair enough. As about Man United, it's just like, I mean, maybe Stephen will back me up on this, but Amarin never had a transfer window, and now he has. I don't really class. Yeah, he had January, but I mean a proper transfer window. So he had a proper transfer window. So I don't know how much say he has. Stephen will know more than me how much say he's got in his players. I imagine he has a say. So he's finally starting to be able to build the team he wanted. So I'm not that surprised that they have started gelling a bit. And I thought United had a hell of a transfer window. Most of those players that you guys brought in, I would gladly have at Spurs. All of them, pretty much. Pretty much every signing you made, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'll take him. I'll take him. I'll take him. Now, we salvaged our window a little bit with the Simmons signing, but we didn't do enough. I think you guys generally had a better window than us. We managed to salvage it with the Simmons signing a bit. Had we not got the Simmons signing in, I would have said you guys destroyed us in the transfer window. So here's a different United, Dermo. I think Amarin is finally starting to get his act together. But Stephen, they were still on his back even at the start of the season. It's only within the last 4 weeks or so where the fans seemed a bit more accepting of him. Is that fair to say? They were still quite on him until maybe 4 weeks ago or so.
Well, I know where I was at about 5 games ago. It's hard to remember back now all the games, but about five games ago, leading up to the last international break, I had kind of said, like, I was starting to lose patience with it and thinking it wasn't going anywhere. And I kind of decided that in my own head that I'd looked at the fixtures of the next 5 fixtures, and I said, if we don't get 6 points minimum out of those fixtures, then I would be for asking them to go. But we ended up getting a couple of wins, and I think we got like 8 points or 7 or 8 points. So I was like, okay, he bought himself time just leading up to that international break. And, you know, the certain things have happened. I mean, the problems at United, the biggest problem at United has been, well, that we don't really know what the problem is. You know, it seems to be much more, the club's rotten to the core, and it's been like that. You know, I think it's been like that since the Glazers took over, and it's just been slowly rotten over the years. What I do like about Amarin coming in is that finally we did get rid of, we had to do a clear out, and it wasn't as big a clear as we would have wanted. But, you know, again, we're a long way back. Whereas we're going okay now. We've seen a bit of improvement, and that's all we need. That's all I need this season. I just need to see improvement. I need to see we're going in the right direction. Cunha and Mbeumo coming in, 2 Premier League proven players, have been a breath of fresh air, particularly both of them actually, but their work rate, do you know what I mean? It's just something we haven't seen. Like, I mean, Garnacho, Rashford, Anthony, you know, these players, they're just frustrated United fans for the last couple of years. Just some days they turn up and they do some amazing things, like Garnacho's goal against Everton and stuff like that there, like overhead kick, spectacular stuff. But like, just Cunha, I'm trying to think what game it was. You know, he works to the very end of the game. He's smart, he'll draw fouls. He'll come back. He'll work defensively. He'll draw fouls. So there's just a lot of, like I said, there has been good signings, particularly the goalkeepers. Like, you know, Onana last year was just dreadful, and you know, I wanted to see Martinez signed, and I was disappointed in the club going for this goalie that I'd never heard of and nobody had ever heard of, and young fella, and we're kind of like, well, this is a long-term thing. But in fairness to him, he's come in, and what he's done is, he hasn't done anything spectacular, but he's shown that he can catch a ball, and he's shown that he can. And you're laughing, but I see you laugh. But I swear to God, for the last 2 or 3 years, we have not had a goalkeeper that can catch a ball. And all we need to do, all we needed was a goalie who could make De Gea was a great shot stopper. We got rid of him, and then we didn't have a shot stopper. We didn't have Onana was meant to be a ball playing goalie. I never saw it. His passing was pretty poor. He was not good at anything. So this guy's come in, and you already see that he seems to have settled. He seems to have a calmness about him. He seems to have a personality that he can handle wearing a Manchester United shirt. Listen, he'd go out this weekend, make a big mistake, but at the end of the day, you can only judge him on what he's done so far, and that's a huge thing. So I think it is helping United, the fact that we only have one game a week. Amron's getting a chance to really work on his philosophy. His philosophy is so different for a lot of the players in the United team, and but as long as we're seeing progress, and the last weekend's game against Forest was a bit disappointing. But that's going to happen, especially you go away to Forest. It's hard ground to go to. So we'll see. Looking forward tonight to seeing how we match up against Spurs.
I always love the game at Tottenham Man United or Man United Tottenham. It's got so much history to it. You can go back to the '67 Charity Shield where Pat Jennings scored from one end of the ground to the other at Old Trafford. You got the Law, Charles Belt, Law, Charlton and Best. Sort of three of the probably greatest players ever to put on a pair of boots, I think, for Manchester United. You look at Tottenham, Jimmy Greaves. I think we beat you in the 1962 FA Cup semi-final at Hillsborough as well. Jimmy Greaves got 2 that day. Yes, I was there. I was covering the game for the channel. Tequila was outside getting all the fans' review. It was a good day that day, wasn't it? Tequila 62 semi-final at Hillsborough.
Yeah, that takes me back, just like it was yesterday. Yeah.
It was, yeah. I watched the video of it the other night, and it was like the old stands, just sea of people. You look at Old Trafford back in the day, you look at White Hart Lane back in the day. It's just, I think the atmospheres were better in the old days than they are now. But that's just my opinion. But what does it mean? Look, Manchester United Tottenham is a big game, isn't it? But do you think it's lost a little bit of its, I don't know, is it lost a little bit of its sort of sparkle to it over the years? You look when Fergie was in charge. When
do you think so, Demo? I enjoy them much more nowadays because it's much more of an even playing field. Do you not remember the hidings we used to get from United every season? We used to dread playing them.
The one that gets me, Tequila and the guy, is the 3-0. We're 3-0 up, and you lot.
Yeah, and then they came back and won it. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
And do you know what Keane said to them in the change room? Do you know what his captain's speech was? He just turned around to the players and he said, "Lads, it's Spurs."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's
only Tottenham. Yeah,
that was it. Yeah, that was his speech at halftime, and the players were like, "Yeah," and then they went out.
And he's a Tottenham fan. Roy Keane's a Spurs fan as well.
But he knew how bad we were. He probably, he was probably heartbreaking. He was like, these guys are terrible.
He's just he was a serial winner though.
Yeah. I love Roy Keane.
Oh, I wish we had a Roy Keane in our midfield. I tell you.
There's a film coming out about Sapan in I think this year. So early next year. That is going to be really interesting to see.
Do you know what? Mick McCarthy is actually in Armagh City tonight, and I had tickets to a meet and greet with him.
Yeah.
But I decided to come on your show instead. So because and then I was like. I know my brother went to it, and my nephew who does it with me in the podcast, Killian. So they both went to it and sent me photos of him and Mick McCarthy. I was like, this. You mightn't be able to see this top because the players couldn't, but I had this back when I was 15. I was like, can I wear this top down? I don't think it would fit me now, but I was going to wear a Roy Keane top in. Don't know if you can see it, can you?
Yeah,
that's a compliment. You give up Mick McCarthy to speak to us. Wow, Tequila. That's a compliment.
It had absolutely nothing to do with my wife either. Do you know?
No.
It wasn't that I just. Yeah. It wasn't. I wasn't told it was one or the other. So.
Yeah, I know how you feel, Stephen. I know how you feel, bud. Rayman and Tequila. Look, you look at Manchester United. What for you? I'll start with you, Rayman. Don't you, Tequila? What's your nervousness about Saturday? Which one player? What one player are you looking at thinking, God, they can hurt us?
Well, I just to go back, I was laughing because I think a lot of us are now in that place, Steve, where we're like, just do the basics, for crying out loud. Do you know what I mean? You know, you stop doing all your fancy stuff. You know, this for me playing out from the back. I've hated it I've been hating on it for like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't at Spurs. It wasn't just an anshing. It started under Jose and Conte, and it was absolutely. It used to drive me potty and all this. So sometimes, you know, doing the basics, catching the ball, kicking the ball, passing it to a teammate, are all and doing that well are all we really ask for. Which is why I think we love Paulinho so much, because he's just a no nonsense footballer. He just does what he needs to do. So that's why I was laughing. You said, you know, he just does the basics. I'm just like, yes, this is what we want. You know,
I wish we could go back to 4-4-2. To be honest with you,
do you know what?
I would love that. I mean, we have a 6'7" striker at the moment, Šeško, and we've no wingers to pass him to put crosses in. You know, and I still live in the 90s and the early noughties, and I'm thinking about Beckham and Giggs, and I'm just like, he would have, feed him.
Well, they say everything's circular, and we're currently experiencing, a bit of long ballism, a bit of set pieceism.
Yeah,
if you want
throw-ins.
Maybe the next step is 4-4-2. Is going back to maybe we're going to go back into 4-4-2. In the
so we're going to get 80s football again. Is that what you're telling me? Come on, let's go there.
I have been thinking, how would teams cope these days with a classic 4-4-2 and 2 strikers up against the centre backs, because they're so used to just one one striker? How would they actually cope with a little and large man? Just there. Maybe that's the next thing. In terms of who we're concerned about, not Sesko just yet. I think he will come good for you.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
I do think he will come good for you.
I think so. You need to give him time.
Yeah.
So that's like Cunha and Mbeumo both played in the Premier League. That's a massive thing. Coming into a club like United who have been struggling to score goals, and you're new to the league and all that kind of stuff. So he needs time, but he also needs the ball. He needs to be given opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. I think we're seeing a lot of that, of the difference between players who've done a bit of time in the Premier League and then moved to a different, bigger, whatever you want to call it, club, and they sort of acclimatise, they get into that team a lot more easily than players from externally. We're seeing it massively. Kudus has hit the ground running. Paulinho has hit the ground running because he's had previous experience in Premier League. But our non-Premier League players who we bought late, who clearly have quality, are struggling to get up to speed and work out where things are. So, Mbeumo, he, even forgive me in that loss to in the League Cup, he still, he was the standout for me when I in that game. I think he came on, didn't he? And
the Grimsby game you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've blacked that one out as well.
Don't worry, man.
I think that was one of Tequila's questions, actually, about Grimsby, wasn't it, Tequila? Was that one of your questions?
He is an outstanding player.
Yeah.
And I think it says a lot about Man United that you're still, despite the troubles that Man United have had on the pitch, you're still attracting players like that. You're still getting players like that who are choosing Man United to come and play for you guys. So Mbeumo definitely would be the one player who I would be particularly concerned about.
I mean, Tequila, is Rayman right that, look, they did attract, we won the Europa League, we earned the Champions League, but Manchester United still bought better players than us. Does that mean that our name is not as big as Manchester United's? Look, I think Tottenham are a big club. We are a massive club. But if you look around the world, United do have that draw, don't they, Tequila?
Well, Tottenham can be a big club, but United is an elite club. They're the next level up.
Yeah.
And that's a small group of teams. United, I put Liverpool there. I'd put Real Madrid, Barcelona, maybe some of the big Italian sides. Tottenham are not to that level, Dermo. We're not.
I agree.
We're the level below that, which is fine. That's fine. If everyone could be as big as United and Liverpool, then you'd have to come up with a different definition. But no, United have always been able to attract the best players. I think United would need to go through a period even longer than they have of not winning the league. I mean, maybe another 10 to 15 years before that luster may begin to wane, because you've still got a lot of kids, even footballers today, who grew up and saw the great United sides under Ferguson. It will be dying off. Like I say, the longer it goes on, the less of these players who you could attract, who might have seen the tail end of the Ferguson years and still will regard United as that club. We had this discussion with Chelsea and Tottenham about being a big club, and in the minds of most footballers nowadays, they will tell you that Chelsea are a much more attractive opposition than Spurs, even though we freely admitted that Tottenham probably are a bigger club when it comes to the fan base. But because of the recent bias, the last 10, 20 years of success Chelsea have had, they're going to be a more attractive option than maybe. See, United, I think, can probably compete with Chelsea in that, but we are still way behind, even unfortunately Chelsea, due to their recent success and the recent appeal that your footballer today may care about. It's the reputation system, like playing Football Manager. The reputation system, Spurs are still way behind United. And United might have dropped off a bit from their glory days, but they've still got a higher reputation than most of the clubs in the world. Would you say you've got a bigger reputation, Stephen, than Liverpool? I know that's a horrible one to ask, because I know they're your biggest rivals, but I would say maybe other than Liverpool, you might still be the most attractive club to play for. I think you're more attractive than City. I think City have gained on you an awful lot, but I still think in name recognition.
I think it depends if you're talking about players, what attracts players.
Other than money, yeah.
Money, money is a big factor in it. And I think what I do like about Cunha and Buemo is that they don't feel like they've come for money. Like, we've had a lot of players over the last 10 years, and you kind of think they've come for money, and it's never worked out. So United, Liverpool are a huge club as well, but I think the only clubs up there are United, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and then Bayern Munich. Those are the type of, I don't think, like, City have been so successful over the last 10 years, 10 years maybe, but they're not they're not United are worldwide. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's just different, but success is important to keep up there. And as bad as we've been over the last 10 years, we still won a good few trophies. So we've kept ticking away trophies. And I have a good few Spurs fans, which is really weird because there's loads of Spurs fans here. But even last year, whenever they were giving me awful abuse and WhatsApps and stuff, and I just kept saying to them, yeah, but we're still going to finish above you. Like, we are rubbish. Like, we are crap, but we're still going to finish above you. And we did. And I can't believe it, because I even got to a stage last year where I didn't believe it. But somehow we still managed to do it. Like, so
it was easy to believe. It was easy to believe when we were watching those games every week, Stephen. It was easy to believe that you'd finish above us.
Yeah.
But we were terrible. Like, honestly, last season was so depressing. I'm just so delighted now to see some change. All I need to see as a United fan is I just need to see progress. I need to see passion coming in. I need to see players wanting to play for the club. I need to see players trying. And I'm just really pleased, because, like I said, Rashford had a period in time where he's obviously a fantastic talent as a footballer. And he had a period of time where he was brilliant, but he's just been off it for far too long. And it's that kind of ruthlessness of saying, well, actually, if you want to be a top team, then, you have to be ruthless, and keeping players around for too long isn't the way forward, especially if they feel, I don't know, the lifestyle that you see from players. I suppose I don't really care about the lifestyle as long as they're performing on the pitch. But whenever you see the lifestyle and the lavishness, and they're not, and you see them throwing their arms up in the pitch, and you're just like,
What got me last season was Rashford going to Belfast and all that. What happened after that? And that was one. Look, you wouldn't have had that on the Fergie. Yeah, you wouldn't have definitely had that on the Fergie. But I look at the likes of Ahmad and Manu, 2 young lads that have come through the academy, and I love Manu. I would love him at Tottenham. I really would. I think he could do a job for us in our midfield. No, I love these games. I always look forward to when we play Manchester United, either home or away. I mean, back in the day, we never won there. I mean, when we did win there, when Roy Carroll actually, the ball was about 50 foot over the line, and you still won the game when it should have been. No, was it a draw that night or did you win?
Can't remember, but I remember the goal or the non-goal that you're talking about. Yeah. That was
Can't
crazy.
remember.
No VAR back then. Like.
No VAR, no. Royal
Goal line
Carroll
technology.
got it out the net. No, didn't go over the net. To get over the line, ref. No, you're fine. I love playing Manchester United. I really do. It's a game for me. For me, it's a special fixture for me because I think it's 2 big clubs with lots of reputation, lots of history. Yes, you've had more history than us, but I still think, in the 80s when you were winning only 1 FA Cup, 2 FA Cups in the 80s, we were more successful than you. And then you got Fergie, and then you got the Nottingham Forest game, and then the rest is history. But what I do want to talk about, guys, just want to drift a little way about the game on Saturday, is about FIFA and about the world governance of the game that we love. And it was announced today that FIFA have announced a new peace prize to be awarded at December's World Cup soccer draw in America. No questions to who's getting it after all the complaints he made about not getting the other one. So FIFA have decided, tell you what, don't worry, DT, we'll give you a new one. I'm not going to talk about that. That's for the politics side of it. But the question I would ask, going to start with you, Tequila, and I'll go around, is should football stay out of politics, Tequila? And are you worried FIFA are going down this route?
Yeah, but I think that goes for a lot of entertainment. But they can't avoid it. I wish they would. I wish they would, but they can't. They can't for their PR. They've got to try and take a stance. I mean, I don't really buy into it. Really, it all seems PR to me. I try to ignore it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on them giving Donald Trump a. Come on, dude. Come on. See, do you hear what Pochettino said? Just quickly, Dermot.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you see his interview?
I did watch that interview. Yeah.
He wants to meet Donald Trump. I want to see that.
I was sent to the boys on Monday night there. I think it was Harry I was saying it to, like, Poch is going to have ice after him. At the World Cup next year, he'll be thrown in jail and deported.
Yeah.
The thing is, Dermot, politics has been in sport for as long as I can remember.
It has,
with the United States and the Soviet Union sort of boycotting various Olympics, and those types of political rivalries sort of spilling out onto whether it was the basketball court or the ice hockey, the ice hockey arena, to politics. But this does seem particularly cynical. There's why FIFA, what have FIFA got to do with this in any way, shape, or form? And it does feel
it's just image, isn't it? It's all image.
Absolutely.
Image,
and I don't know if you remember Infantino visiting the White House and visiting the Oval Office with Donald Trump, and he gave him. I think he gave him the trophy, and it had it's got like a golden key in it. If I remember rightly, it was quite a while ago. And it was all theatre. It was all back scratching. The harsh reality is that we're interested in sport and football, and these people are interested in power.
Yeah, that's what it is. Power breeds greed, doesn't it? And greed then comes with corruption. I mean, you look at the Premier League. Sorry, go on, Raymond. Go on, finish.
And all of this is just a route to it, basically. I mean, Infantino is a lawyer. They're all they're all lawyers in one way or another. There's so many, especially in European institutions. It just looks cynical.
It does. I mean, look, we can go back home to the Premier League with the Man City thing, and that's still dragging on. I just wish the Premier League would come out. I think something might come out in this international break about the Man City thing. I mean, look, I'm going to start in Manchester. I think we should do, because we really want to get an independent view, and a really sort of non-political view from Manchester. I'm sure they're going to be very. I'm sure Manchester are going to be very sort of, support the fellow Manchester team. I think there will be.
I think there's as much chance of the stuff coming out about City as there is about Trump releasing the Epstein files. Because I've seen all the small. Everton got fined. Nottingham Forest got fined, dropped points and stuff. And City are still, they've too much money. They've too many lawyers. They're not. Nothing's ever going to happen with that.
I mean,
it's just not like.
I mean, look, Tequila, from a Tottenham point of view, what we got to gain, one League Cup, right? But if you look at the other teams that could have won championships or could have won FA Cups, I'm sure Man United would love an FA Cup the year they lost to them in the final. Sorry, Stephen, that's two finals.
Sorry, we beat them next year anyway, so it was fine.
Yeah, I know you did, but the other one you lost, you could have done. You did that against Southampton, didn't you? You went to two consecutive. You lost to Southampton and then you beat Liverpool, or was it with Tommy Dock? You got to two cup finals in the 70s.
I'm a bit younger than that now. I was only born in the early 80s.
It was actually the year I was born. You beat Liverpool to stop them doing the treble. Was it 76 they lost to Southampton? Yeah, 76 they lost to Southampton, and 77 they beat Liverpool to stop them doing the treble. God, I'm only 48 and I can remember this shit. This is bad. Tequila, I mean, where are you on it? With this Manchester City thing. If you look, I'm being serious. With United, they've got a lot more to gain on the trophy front. We only won League Cup, but is it important that the Premier League come down hard on City, Tequila? Because you look at FIFA, you look at all the corruption. We have to show that we mean business, don't we? Or the Premier League have to show they mean business.
I've never expected City are going to get penalised. I don't think they are. Yeah. I've never thought they will. I think that the Premier League will be too scared, and that is the word I'm going to use, scared, to open the can of worms, which you just suggested, because you're going to rescind every title, are you? You're going to rescind it all. And then the teams who lost those finals, including ourselves, what we're going to do is we're going to throw more parades for stuff that we won 5 or 6 years ago that we should have won. I mean, how far do you want to go? How far down a rabbit hole? So it's in their best interest. And I'm not saying this is the right thing to do. This is what I think they'll do. They want to stick their nose in the sand like an ostrich. They want to continue to do that. So I think City will get away with it. If they were to get punished, it's not going to be anywhere near as harsh as any of us want it to be. They ain't going to lose titles. They're not going to give titles. If you think they're going to give titles back to Liverpool, or give titles to United, or give us the League Cup that we lost to them, they will never do that. So if that's what you think is going to happen, I think you're going to be disappointed, my friend.
I don't think it will happen. I think it should happen. I think they should be demoted. And I mean, look,
that damages the integrity. I know you can say that the integrity has already been damaged, and that there's merit to that. But how bad will it look if they have to rescind all these titles and hand them all these old trophies now over the last 10 years or more? They're going to handle.
Jose will be very happy.
Well, this is what I mean. and then that opens. You know what this does as well? It's going to open all the teams who were relegated during that period of time, who might turn around in the law and say, hold on a second, we were relegated because we lost those points to City, so we shouldn't have been relegated. What are you going to do then? You're going to promote us back? What, all of them?
I think there's going to be a lot of suing going on, I think, when this does.
And they don't want to open that minefield because it is an absolute minefield. So the Premier League will do everything in their power to not open that minefield. They might deduct points from City. I can see that. They could even relegate them to maybe one division. No way they're taking the titles off them, though, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think what I heard was if they do anything, they'll put asterisks, next to it. I'm very clear in where I come from. I visited the Etihad in sort of the late 90s, early noughties, the early noughties, and that these owners, I prefer these owners to the owners that Man United, and I'm sure Man United fans would say it as well. Prefer those owners to the owners that we've had. They have what they've done, barring breaking these rules, what they've done at Man City has been absolutely incredible. What they've done around the local area has been absolutely incredible. The investment that they put into that part of the city. Forgive me, I come from a different place, but I can't stand those rules myself. I actually think they should be going after owners like the Glazers, who have been
I agree.
Ripping, money from the Manchester United fan base, rather than going after owners who, I don't know, it feels like their biggest crime has been fiddling stuff so they can give the club more money. It just feels it as football fans, we can go, they've broken the rules, and that is what it is. And there's a sporting integrity thing there. When one group of people play by the rules and another don't, then yeah, that's sporting integrity. But I look at the rules and I think, why are you trying to stop? Like you've got Newcastle right now. Why are they trying to stop investment in the club, and I'm sure in that local area as well? Why are they trying to stop that from happening? Take it away. There should be more Jack Walkers who wants to bring success to football clubs and provide joy, and less accountants and lawyers who want to stop it, in my mind. So I do agree. I think it's a can of worms, and it's taken so long because they're trying to work out how to not come back and slap him in the face.
Yeah.
But I personally look at it and I wish that we'd never had any of this stuff. And they should be going after the Glazers. They should be going after, I can't remember the name of the guy at Portsmouth. They should be trying to stop, the
guy who was with Redknapp during that period.
Yeah.
What about the Sheffield Wednesday guy who wrote his name on the seats?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's unbelievable. I actually thought that was AI. I didn't think that was real.
Yeah.
No,
he had his name on
I
the
was
seats,
with you on that. So did I.
Yeah.
But yeah, we all want but from a sporting integrity perspective, I can see it. I do get it.
Yeah.
But you look at it beggars belief that that apparently the Glazers are fine, but the owners of Man City are not.
I mean, I can go back. Look, I can go back to Ivan Scholar with Tottenham back in the late 80s, early 90s, where he nearly bankrupted Tottenham Hotspur, and we had an 8 million overdraft, and it wasn't for Alan Sugar coming in, and then Enoch came in. I mean, you look at Manchester United, Martin Edwards presided over a long time at Manchester. His father, and then wasn't it his son then took over, Stephen? Then you had the Glazers take over. Look, me and Tequila have our own views on the Glazers. I think we sort of agreed that we feel sorry for United, don't we? Rarely when we watch what the Glazers have done there.
Yeah.
Where are you on it, Tequila? I mean, I'll get to you in a minute, Steve. Sorry, I just want to ask you a quick question, and I'll let you come in on the Man United side of it. But you look, we've had Enoch, we've had Daniel Levy. But if you look at the Glazers, we had it a little bit easier than what United fans have had it, haven't we?
I won't claim to know all the ins and outs, certainly not as much as United fans like Stephen do. But as an outsider, I do think the Glazers, obviously they've been taking a lot of money out, and that's not good. And I understand why United should be upset. But I think, and you tell me if I'm wrong, that I think that generally United, as well as wages, they generally back their managers with players and the wages. I think they, from an outsider point of view, Stephen, maybe he's going to shoot all this down, then that's fine. He will know more than me about his club. But from an outsider looking in, you're comparing it to under Levy and under ENIC, at least the old ENIC, whatever, ENIC in general. I wish ENIC would have been as generous as the Glazers seem to be when it comes to the players we buy and very much importantly, the amount of wages that United are prepared to spend. Yeah. And maybe that's that cool. Maybe they've been paying their players too much. I'm sure Stephen will probably agree. They've probably been playing a lot of their players too much. But we can only dream of having that kind of a wage budget at Spurs, because that was the reason why we lost out on so many signings over the years, because either we weren't prepared to pay the extra fee that they wanted, or we couldn't afford the wages. And that stuff has held us back. Hopefully that will change under the new ownership, or the same ownership but new figureheads. We'll see. But if I'm wrong, Stephen, tell me I'm wrong. But as an outsider looking in, it looks like United have always backed their managers. So even though I hear all the stuff about them taking money out and I don't know the specifics, just on the footballing side, they seem to back the managers that they hire.
Well, the Glazers got themselves one of the greatest deals ever in the history of business, and they did nothing wrong. It's completely illegal now. But I believe what they did at the time was legal. But essentially what they did was they bought Manchester United and on debt and instantly put that debt on the club. So what that meant was they didn't pay a penny. So it's basically like if you went to, essentially if you went to, they went to a bank and they said, give me a mortgage. I want to go and buy Manchester United, this massive club that makes lots of money. And, and as soon as if you give me that money, as soon as I get the ownership, I'm going to take that debt and I'm going to give it to them. They're going to pay you your interest. I'm not going to have anything on me, and they'll keep paying you and I'll keep getting paid by them, and everyone's a winner. But, I think the idea that, and I understand what you're saying and how that can be perceived to be true, that they have spent money on players, but there's a lot more that goes to being an elite professional sports team than just how much you pay players. Look at Ronaldo. Whenever he came back, he couldn't believe that he came back to the same facilities that he left.
That's true.
All those years ago. Now, what you look at Spurs, and from the outside, I look at Daniel Levy and stuff like that there. But what have Spurs done over the last 15, 20 years? They've invested. You're talking there about like Man City and what they've done. They've completely regenerated that side of Manchester, right? But Levy's got the training facilities, some of the best in the country. He's got the amazing stadium. To be a successful, high-performing sports outfit, you need to be that. And what you're seeing at United is like I talked earlier on about how the rot has come. Well, the rot has come. It literally was the roof was leaking. Do you know what I mean? Like the roof was actually leaking. Like how embarrassing was that? For United fans. But that's just because what you literally had a company or a family come in, take that, and I think they're the only owners who were getting dividends every year, taking dividends out of the club every year. So yeah, it is kind of like a hidden thing. It's kind of like we'll give this shiny thing. I'm trying to think of a metaphor for it basically, but like it's almost like the car that you bought looks like a Ferrari.
Yeah.
But on the outside, it's lovely and shiny. But the stuff inside it, I'm starting to sound like Brendan Rodgers here. It's a Honda Civic. You know what I mean? It looks like a Ferrari, but it's a Honda Civic.
It's like my mate who had an MR2 and he painted it red and put badges on it to make it, to make people think it was a Ferrari. Do you hold hope that Jim Radcliffe will do things? No. Okay.
No.
I'm sorry about that.
The guy that talked about bringing, he came in. He says, "I'm going to put the Manchester back in Manchester United." How are you going to do that? By now, whether or not now, from listening to, people that would know more about the club and the setup, they said that there was a far too big a staffing pool at United, but just coming in and devastating the club, you're ripping the heart out of it, and again, you're talking about culture of high performance. One of the things Ferguson really drove through and created at Old Trafford was that everyone mattered. And if it was the people serving, brushing the floor, it was he knew their names, and that matters, because if you've got everyone pulling together, people care and they'll go. That it's like if you employ people, if you treat them well, they'll stick with you when the time gets hard. But if you just treat them as employees and you just and they know that, well, come tomorrow, if they're, or come next quarter, if they're losing money, that could be me gone, and they won't think twice about it. So no, Sir Jim, and he's come out and he's showing us these big new stadium that looks like a circus tent, and you're just like, why we were operating. He put that out last year, and it was like, it couldn't have been a worse year to put out a circus tent for our new stadium. You know what I mean? It was just, you couldn't write it. God knows how much. And I see a sign coming up on your screen there that he's just 5 million agreed with Spurs.
Yeah.
Do you know what we couldn't believe? I couldn't understand last year. Whenever I was watching United I was called White Hart Lane. What is it called? The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? Is that what it's
No,
called?
it always will be 100. Just 1 minute,
Wow,
Steve. Taylor, can you close down the stream for me? Because I have to go to the agenda. Can you do that for me very quickly?
Yeah, it's Thursday,
Thank
not
you so
Friday.
much.
You know that, don't you, Demo?
Yeah, I'm not going on tomorrow. Look, guys, I have to go off
Okay.
because I'm due on Man United's due. I'm going to go and cause chaos over there. Watch them do. Stephen, I'll ring you tomorrow, bud.
No worries.
Coming on. Absolutely great. Rayman, great. Guys, you can leave in the hands of Russell Martin to just end this and continue the stream. You sure you know how to close it down, bud?
Yeah, just about.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. I'll speak to you later, guys. All right, see you.
All the best.
See you later.
No, I was just saying there.
I was turning around and looking around because I've got Sir Alex Ferguson's autobiography somewhere.
Yeah.
Here. And it's a great read, and he sort of epitomized that there's a very famous JFK, John F. Kennedy story where he went and visited NASA, and he went up to a janitor who had his mop out and cleaning the floor.
Yeah.
And he went up to him and said, what are you doing here? And he said, I'm helping putting man on the moon.
Yeah.
And Ferguson absolutely embodied that. He believed that's what everyone was doing. I obviously I want my club to succeed, but it does. I'd love for Man United to resurrect, to be resurrected, and I do wonder. We talk about rot. Sometimes you need to rip everything out.
Well, just one of the things I was saying there last year, as United fans, we could understand how Ineos was sponsoring Spurs seats in the dugouts. There was not one Ineos sign at Old Trafford. No, listen, there's something very strange about why someone would. I mean, he bought into United, and I think most United fans just see it for what it is. He kind of bought in. The Glazers said, "Look, you can come in here and take all the heat," and I don't know why he did it, but if it must just be for money, because I don't know, just I've no confidence. But again, that's out of our control, and the Glazers have shown that they don't care. They just don't care, no matter how much abuse. The only thing that they did listen to was whenever there was the Super League thing and the fans got on the pitch and stopped the Liverpool match. Within the next week, one of the Glazers was out and talking to fans and said, we're gonna set up this new thing where we're gonna talk to you now, and then once the news cycle had gone, none of that ever happened. They don't care. But listen, all we can control is what we do to Spurs on Saturday, and I'm
that is a great segue. Stephen,
Yeah.
I was going to say as the last thing we're going to cover, because obviously Dermo's run off. Didn't leave me any notes he had planned. So, but I know that one thing he did want to cover for sure, obviously, is we'll give predictions, but also where's the game going to be won and lost. So, I'll stay maybe in the middle because now it's more even. So, if Rayman, you can go first since you're Spurs. How are we going to beat United? And then Stephen, you tell us how you're going to beat us.
I actually love Manchester United's tactical. I love I love the setup and this 3-4-3 with sort of 2 roaming 10s. I personally love it, and I think Amram only ever needed the right players to make it work. And in Cunha and in Buemo, in those 10s, I think obviously they go wide. I think he's got the right players, whether they've got the right depth. I think it's going to be. I'm going, obviously. I think it's going to be a very, very tough game for Tottenham, where we've got a lot of injuries. Yes, we've come off the back of a very good performance against Copenhagen, an uplifting performance, but there's still going to be a lot of anxiety in that stadium following Chelsea. And with Man United seeming to now hit some form, and it looks from the outside like these guys are starting to click. And I think it's going to be. I think it's got. I think we're going to have a tough. I think Tottenham's going to have a tough day on Saturday. I think that will fuel some more anxiety in the stadium and feed into our players. I fear that Man United are going to get a result against us on Saturday, if I'm brutally honest.
And Raymond, who's United's danger man, do you think, for us? Who should we be scared of the most?
It's in Buemo. He looks like a beast at the moment. He is really, really, he is hitting the ground running. But Cunha, looks good. I've always rated Dalot. I don't know why he's been sort of hot and cold. Whenever I've said, I don't know.
Good. I think he's good as well.
Whenever I've seen him play, he's been fantastic. Even last year when we had the hoodoo over Man United, when Dalot came on, I'm sure Dalot came on in the last game that we played you at home, and he just looks composed. He looks like a proper footballer.
I remember, because Com, obviously, he was a member of the channel at the time. I think Ahmad was the only United player he could give praise to during that period. I think he was down on pretty much all the other players other than Ahmad. I think he was the only one he had any faith in. I remember Com not slagging off per se, but being disappointed with all the other players other than Ahmad. He would always praise Ahmad. So I think
was it last season?
Yeah,
Ahmad had a good season. He was one of few who did play very well. He kind of broke through a lot. So are you? What's your prediction then?
Me, I mean, I think, I don't know, because it really
get off that fence now. Come on,
it really depends what Tottenham turns up. If we've got Kuti and Mickey in the centre of defence, and we can control midfield, then we'll come out with a win. We'll come out with a 1-0 or a 2-0. But the way that I think I would, if I was putting money down on the table, I would do my predictions. I'm in a predictions league with one of my mates. I think I'd go for a 2-2.
Well, Scott, who was talking to us on Monday night, he said that he thought that that this was the worst thing for United coming to London this weekend was what happened with Chelsea last week, and that he said that the Spurs team could not turn up. And I think Harry said that the Spurs didn't get a single shot in the second half against Chelsea, and he said, so both of them were kind of saying like Spurs will have to turn up this weekend or else they'll be in big trouble.
Stephen, we had the 0.05 XG, which I believe is the worst from any Premiership club since like 2011. So you think of all the relegation teams. I think Derby was since 2011, and they had the record, I think, for the worst team. Even they had a better XG in their games than we managed to actually tell you how lack of an attacking threat Spurs were last week. So.
Yeah, well, I was listening to Amarin's the first part of his press conference today, and one of the things that he was talking about was he said that United had 19 shots against them last weekend against Forest, and he kind of made it clear that that's not acceptable. So he talked about, he was talking about the need to be. You're kind of saying about the best teams now just don't concede, and they'll get that 1 goal or 2 goals, and that's enough to win it. So, I think he's going to probably. I don't know. I think he's probably going to do what I think he did last week at Forest. Was he kind of went expecting. He probably expected Forest to sit back, and I think he was along the lines of, we'll keep playing it and we'll try to draw them out to create a bit of space. But it's a risky game, especially at somewhere like that, because if Forest were dangerous, you just get a bad pass or something like that there, you get a chance, and then it's a goal, and then you're up against it. So I've predicted a 2-1 win in this game, just purely from, I don't know why, like, to be honest, I've absolutely nothing, no evidence to back up that's remotely, but that's what I kind of I'm hoping for anyway. But I could see it being an absolutely terrible 0-0 game as well. Like, but I'm going to go. I've said 2-1.
Stephen. Let me ask you, Stephen. I always like to do this whenever we get an outsider fan, because us, obviously we're a Spurs channel, and we can kind of live a little bit in an echo chamber in our own little bubble. As an outsider, as you look at Spurs, and obviously you're going to be playing us next, do you have any concerns? Because we, at the moment, are a very poor team going forward. Our defence is solid. Our midfield is all right. It's our worst front line, in my opinion, since Everson, Armstrong. It is, to me. So as an outsider, do you fear us as an attacking threat at all? You might fear us from set pieces, but as an attacking threat, you look at our forward players, do you think
no,
they ain't got much?
Well, I mean, I haven't seen Spurs play this season now, but I'm not going into it with any particular fear of, it doesn't seem like there's any hot player that's knocking the goals in, so but I think I would expect a tight game against Spurs. I kind of focus on United with all these games, and I just kind of look at what team we're going to bring, and I don't really unless we're going to a team that I see quite if I see in Liverpool and see, or Man City, or where or Arsenal, where I know their identity, you know what I mean? I don't really know. I knew what Spurs' identity was last year. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know what it is this year. I haven't seen enough of it.
I don't think, if it makes you feel better, Stephen, I'm not sure that we know what identity is yet. I'm not sure Frank has figured that out. Bless him. He hasn't had enough time, and I don't think he knows probably quite yet exactly what his identity is. So he's just trying to keep a tight ship as much as he can.
Yeah,
I like him.
Well, he tries to figure it out.
It's actually quite a perceptive assessment of where Spurs are at the moment, where none of us, and I think that's why a lot of the Spurs fans are a little bit, because there's a lot of discontent, even in 10 games in.
Yeah. I think he's a good manager. I think Frank. I mean, he's shown he's a good manager, but it's, if you'd said that, I was shocked at Levy leaving. So I don't know whenever
I think we all were, to be honest, because he was such a staple. I mean, I started supporting Spurs. I was a bit of a late bloomer in like the late 90s. I know nothing other than Levy, so this is completely new ground for me. I don't know about you, Rain. I think maybe you supported him maybe a bit younger than I did, so you've probably seen a little bit more outside of Enoch. But all I know is Enoch, so this is completely new ground. Even though Enoch technically is still there, but I mean under Levy, it's new ground for me. So I have no idea what to expect. Can't even predict stuff anymore very well, because it's like, well, I don't know what they're going to do. I guess that's exciting, but also very worrying at the same time. Can't predict what's going to happen in the back.
Are you going to the match this weekend?
No, I've got health issues. I can't make many games. I haven't made a game in about 2 or 3 years, unfortunately for me. So I'll let I'll let Rainman do the cheering for me.
Yeah, I'm a season ticket holder. I'm a season ticket holder in the North Stand, so I'm actually about 40 seats away from the away fans.
Nice.
So listen here, could I ask you a favor? Could you get me a wee video of the United fans at some stage, just for the atmosphere? Because we've just started, like I literally just started 3 weeks ago, our own podcast for Man United, like Irish Red Devils, and I'm trying to get like clips from fans in the stadiums at games, and I haven't got any one for this game yet from a United point of view. So even if there was a clip of United fans singing or something, just to get that feeling of the game, that'd be really cool.
Yeah. Well, let's
get the details. Yeah. That's
absolutely no problem.
Yeah. Okay, so predictions are: Stephen, you've gone 2-1, and 2-1. Rain, you've gone 2-2. I'll go 1-1, so that's 2 draws and a United win. So none of us think the Spurs are going to win this, which is interesting, right? Okay, guys. If you want to put your predictions in chat, I see Wayne's got a 3-1 to Spurs. Bless him. Dermo would say 4-1 because Dermo always says 4-1. So I already will speak that for him. But if you guys want to put your prediction in chat before we head off. But yeah, if you guys want to plug your channels, Rain, if you want to start, do you have a channel, mate? I know you do, Stephen, but do you even have a channel, Rain?
No, I just come onto various channels. I think this is the fourth or fifth I've come onto, and just spread my opinions and have a chat with people. That's really fun.
It's good fun. Like literally, like the podcast equipment I got as a result of my business and stuff I was doing with it. So I had it, and myself and my brother were just kind of saying, "Hey, we must do something," and we're just enjoying it. It's getting together and talking about something we're passionate about, and it's really, really enjoyable. And it's been this idea of talking to the other team. It's interesting going in, because you hear things, like I've heard things from you guys tonight and things that from talking to the guys Monday night. And when I watch the game, I'll be that bit more informed. Do you know what I mean? And it'll just so it's just different. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Like we can do this,
Right, my man.
Well, do you take a draw now? Someone asked me that the other night in our podcast, and I think actually my brother and my nephew both said they would take a draw, and I think the Spurs boys said they would take a draw, and I said I wouldn't, because I was like, if you're saying I would take a draw, what's the point in going?
I think at the start of the season I would have taken a draw, but because we've been so bad at home for the majority of our games, I think we badly need a performance at home. I'm not saying this is the one, but we badly need a performance. I know we just had it in the chat, but I mean in the Premier League, we badly need a performance at home because we've been so poor for so long in the league at home. Honestly, Dermo put up a slide the other day of our record over the last calendar year, the last 12 months. Obviously, most of that is under Postecoglou, but it is relegation form at home. It is relegation form at home in the Premier League. So that has got to change. And I think that's what you want to see more than anything else. You want to see a performance as well, but we just need to pick up some results at home in the league. Don't know if he's going to start, obviously. I don't know if he's going to start this weekend or not, but we badly need to come up with something. I'm not sure where it's going to come from, though. But okay, Stephen, if you want to plug your channel, mate, where can people find you?
Yeah, so on YouTube, Irish Red Devils podcast. And it's on Spotify as well now. And we haven't got any socials up. We've registered them, but they'll all be going up over the international break now when I get a chance. But Irish Red Devils. So we're recording a Monday night. The format we have is that we have a fan on that night from the team we're playing that weekend to get information from them about what we can expect. But we also have a fan who had been on the previous week, talking about the game we just played, and then coming on as a reaction. So the two boys will come on. They've promised me they'll come on, win, lose or draw on Monday night. We actually, our first episode was after the Liverpool game, so I got a Liverpool fan on, fair play, and but again, look, it's going to happen. We're going to have to. So it's only a matter of time before we get back to losing ways at times. So, but that's just part of it. That's just the game. Irish Red Devils, and so we record on the Monday night, and then we have our first episode on the Monday night goes out the Tuesday, and that's for the United game that has just happened. And then the second part of we put it out on a Thursday morning. So this morning, our Spurs one went out with the conversation we had there the other night. So it's up there now with the insight from those guys.
Right. Please go ahead and join Stephen's channel. Is it just for United fans, or?
Well, that's what every week is going to be, the episode there today, it's always going to have away fans. So, I mean, our talk is for United, but it's like I said, like the podcast that went out today, it's just us talking to Spurs fans, and then so they're probably talking more on it actually, because we're trying to find out more about their team. And then on Monday night there we had a guy, Chris, who was the Nottingham Forest fan from England. He was on it, and again, so it's kind of like, I think anyone who likes football, do you know what I mean?
For all football fans, then
just a bit of crack,
And the thing is, Stephen, I've always had mates who are not Spurs fans, right? Actually, one of my best mates, when I was growing up, was an Arsenal fan. Always been in the position where, and actually, I'm quite good friends with a massive Man United fan, absolutely huge.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking massive Man United fan. I like having calm, sensible, discussions like we've had
Yeah.
tonight. I'm not a fan personally of the hugely adversarial.
Yeah. No.
I think it's nice when we can just come together.
You don't like the tribal warfare, then, Rain?
Yeah, I just, I mean, you get it in the stadium, and that's it is what it is, and it adds to the stadium. But I'm very much, before respect, during we're in it.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
you show each other respect again, and at the end of the day, the ones who always get the crap, is always the fans. It doesn't matter whether you're a Spurs fan, a United fan, a City fan.
Yeah.
The ones who always suffer are always going to be the fans. So we're generally in it together, like the
Well, the kind of the theme of it is like going into a coffee shop and meeting your friends or meeting people there that serve coffee. Like, and I use that because I go into the same coffee shop every day, and the guy is the Liverpool fan. He came on, and you have a bit of banter with them. You know what I mean? And it's not, it annoys you, but it's not like, it's not mean. It's friendly. It's like, geez, I hate your team, like, but I can also tell you, like, you played really well. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were shocking, but then whenever, like, I think whenever we beat Liverpool, I don't think I know. Do you know the Conor McGregor walk?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say, like, I walked into the coffee shop the next morning, with the Conor McGregor walk. So but that's the idea of our podcast. That we have that idea. It's a bit like you're just sitting with, just sitting in a bar maybe, or or sitting in a coffee shop and having a chat with people that are just into football and having a bit of crack, really.
Right, good to hear. Right, so as for content on this channel, obviously Dermo will be covering the game over the weekend. I don't know if there's a stream tomorrow. As I said, he's run off. You know us, we normally do stream most nights, so there will probably be a stream tomorrow. Most likely if his predicted lineup, maybe a game preview. And then please live coverage for the watch along over the weekend as well for the United game against Spurs. But I want to thank my two guests. I want to thank Rain. Say goodbye.
Thank you very much for having me.
No worries, my friend. And Stephen, the United fan, thanks for coming on, bro. We do appreciate getting other fans on here as well.
Yeah, thanks for the offer. It was nice. It was nice to get the offer. He called me this afternoon, and I saw this Southern Irish number, and I was like, who's someone looking money off me? And I was like, no, I'll answer it anyway. Like, so, and he said, come on. So, like I said, no, it was really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for the invitation.
And you're both welcome to come on. Stephen, obviously, when we play United and Rain, as a Spurs fan, you're welcome to come on as well. When we've got some space. Right then, guys. Well, thanks for joining us again. And I suppose, as always, come on, you Spurs. And because I have to, don't I? Right then. It's just who we are, mate.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Take care for now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've ended.